Hello, people! It is I, Tony, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews, and welcome to another multi-part review, and this is episode 125, part 1 of 4. And yeah, I know I've been doing a lot of multi-part reviews that were in 4 parts and stuff, but just that a lot of these series have, a lot of these video game series have 4 parts and stuff, so that's why. And those of you who have been following my YouTube channel and stuff know that I love fighting games, one of my favorite video game genres of all time and stuff, and I grew up with a lot of fighting game franchises like Tekken, the Soul series like with Soul Edge, Soul Blade, and Soul Calibur, and Mortal Kombat and stuff, and a lot of them fun ones definitely and stuff. Of course, there are some bad ones too, like that awful Trilogy of Terror and that awful Killing Zone and stuff like that. But I've already talked about those and stuff, and of course you can't forget Versus either. But that's off topic. I've already talked about those. If you want to see those, let's see reviews. Let's go check them out. They're on my channel. But there is one fighting game franchise that I have not talked about much on my channel here until today, and that is the Bloody Roar franchise. And this review will be divided up into 4 parts. Part 1, we're going to look at Bloody Roar. Part 2, Bloody Roar 2. Part 3, Bloody Roar 3. And Part 4, Bloody Roar 4. Now, I know there is Bloody Roar Primal Fury and Bloody Roar Extreme on the Nintendo GameCube and the Xbox, which are the same game and stuff, but I will not be reviewing it because I don't own them. I used to own Primal Fury, but I don't own a GameCube anymore, so I can't review that there. But I will say this, it is a good game. It's definitely really good. If you want some Bloody Roar action on the Xbox and the GameCube and stuff, then there you go. But we talked about this long enough here. Let's get started here with the original Bloody Roar, aka Bloody Roar Hyper Beast Duel on the PlayStation 1, released in 1998. Now, going into Bloody Roar, that I know that this is the first game in the series, and usually the sequels will make things better and stuff. But I gotta say that the original Bloody Roar is at most a mediocre game, average at best. I will admit this game has not aged well compared to the later games in the series and stuff like that, but I still recommend you checking this game out because to see how the Bloody Roar series began and stuff, it's worth it. But be warned, because this game may not appeal to some people, but I will explain more of that later. Now, the main thing about this series that differs from other fighting game franchises is that you have a beast mode where your character can transform into a beast like a rabbit, a tiger, a lion, a wolf, a fox, and more. And these characters are called zoanthropes who have the ability to transform into animal beasts, like I mentioned before. And it's a cool idea and stuff, and I do like it and such. However, like the first game did have some rough spots and stuff where it haven't aged degraded, but we'll talk about that later on. Now let's get started here talking about the story, and the story talks about the Tylon Corporation that experiments with zoanthropes and keeping them hostage but turn them into military experiments. The 8 zoanthropes that you play as have their own story and want to destroy Tylon for what they're doing to other zoanthropes and more, and for other reasons too with the story. Now the story isn't that deep, but since it's a fighting game, I understand that. Like the story just mainly told through a text screen and stuff like that and such, like the ending screen, which are pretty much still images with text at the bottom and stuff. But it's understandable because a lot of fighting games were like that back in the day, because it was like that, except for games like Soul Blade and stuff, which had 3D ending scenes and the image and stuff. But other games wanted to do this, and they did it, and it works. It's understandable. Now for the graphics here, the graphics are decent graphic stuff, which look okay, but you know there was improvement to be made. The character models look good. While they may not be the best looking character models, they still look good. I mean, they look kind of rough around the edges a little bit, but they're still good looking, definitely. The backgrounds look okay, even though there are kind of small looking, square looking stuff, which is understandable because a lot of fighting games like that. Just they're okay looking. Could have had more detail to them. The CG cutscenes, though, are not so good with the 3D rendered character models. The faces look deformed and smushed together like a badly made sock puppet, and they just look awful looking when they're in 3D and stuff. And so the graphics for the most part are decent. They could have been better, but it's understandable because this was a game released in 1998, and it is understandable because it was the first game in the series. The sound is also decent and stuff. The sound is decent here too. Not the best type for the sound department, but still decent at best. For the music, I gotta say the music is the best part. You got awesome music here. You got some rock guitar riffs and stuff like that and such, and some little pop synthesizer tunes, which it's mainly rock music and stuff. And you have 2 soundtracks, just like in the Tekken series and Soul Edge and stuff, which you had 3. You have the soundtracks are the arcade version soundtrack and the console version soundtrack, and they're both good. Like the arcade soundtrack has a soundtrack for each stage, while the console soundtrack has a character theme for each opponent you fight. So like, no matter which stage you fight in with the console soundtrack for that character, it'll always play the character theme no matter what stage you're in. The arcade soundtrack is a little bit better. I know it sounds being a little biased, but just that since this was a part of an arcade game, I gotta fare with the arcade soundtrack in my opinion, definitely. The voice acting is either a hit or miss and stuff. I didn't really care too much for the voice acting. Some of it sounds very hammy and phoned in, while the others sound good and stuff. I mean, it's not the best. It's either a hit or miss or on whether you care for the voice acting or not. Now for the gameplay. This is the main part that hasn't aged that well. It is still fun, but you will still see the problems that the first game has, but we'll talk about that later. You have 8 characters to choose from who can all turn into beasts with their Zontos and stuff. But for this review, I'll be playing as 17-year-old Alice Tsukagami, the rabbit Zonto, who's from Japan. The controls feel a little stiff at times and hard to pull off certain moves that they do take time to get used to, but once you get used to them, you'll have fun, but just be warned, it's gonna take a little time. You have all your basic punches and kicks and throws and combo attacks and stuff, and like I mentioned already, you can transform into a beast and you can attack your opponent like that and give yourself a bunch of cool ass moves and stuff, that combo moves and stuff. The difficulty isn't really balanced all that much. Like it can be a little rough around the edges at times. Like it can be too tough at times, especially for beginners stuff or not good at fighting games. The opponents love to abuse their beast form. It can take you down easily. Don't know what you're doing. Me being a fan of fighting games and stuff, it wasn't that hard for me and stuff. But like, it's just there are times where the opponent AI will kick your ass and stuff, no matter how good or how bad you are and stuff. Especially if you're a beginner at this and stuff. And other times, the opponent AI will be very easy and still will just stand there and not do anything. But it's a balance issue, but I guess you can understand because it was the first game they were going to make some improvements there and stuff. You have a decent amount of moves to keep you busy, but there could have been more that could have been done with original Bloody Roar and stuff. Like, you don't really have that many unlockable characters and stuff like that and such either and stuff. And like, actually, not any unlockable characters from what I saw, so that's the thing there. But aside from that, though, there really isn't much else to say. It's an average mediocre game that could have had more to it, but still would only if you like fighting games. I mean, it's not going to get a very low rating, but it's not going to get a very high rating either. I mean, like, I know it sounds biased with that, but just that more could have been done with this game, definitely. So my final thoughts are, if you like fighting games and you want to play a fighting game, you can transform into like a beast, like animal character and stuff like that, and like attack your opponents stuff like that. It's fun. It's also fun to be happy, but be warned, like the controls and stuff like that and such, and the difficulty's not very balanced, stuff like that, and more kind of do hinder this game definitely. Due to the complaints I have with this game, the score I'll be giving it is probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, more improvements could have been made to it and stuff, but as for it's the first game in the Bloody Roar franchise, it's understandable. And that's it for episode 125, part 1 of 4. Stay tuned for episode 125, part 2 of 4. I'll be looking at Bloody Roar 2, aka Bloody Roar 2, Bringer of the New Age, or also known as Bloody Roar 2, The New Breed. Now, how does the sequel compare to the first game here? Well, stay tuned to find out. Which all I gotta say, this is Tony. Peace out, and have a great day, and see you all in the next episode.